Now, welcome to this August update. Let's just say it's been tough, right? We all know what year it is. We all know what we're going through. I haven't had any work weekends and I don't know when. And not because of anything more than, quite frankly, I've been so busy and so tired by the end of the day. I just haven't had any effort or gumption to actually set some up. And you know, that happens in model railroading. At times you get tired, you get wore out, and you just kind of go through lazily getting things done. And that's what it's been like. But not that nothing's been done. If you've been following on the Facebook page, you see that there's quite a bit of stuff that I've been posting and just kind of keep moving forward. But nonetheless, come on in and I'll show you what we've got up for this update and hope you enjoy it. Well, this is a project that I started back in December. I started by drawing the bridges and then went into the UP Freight House. It's almost done. I have two projects that I have to deal with. One is the electrical. The biggest problem I have is the outside lighting and the interior lighting are two different voltages that I need to run. I also have to light up these street lights right here. These are some custom built street lights that I built. There's an LED already in there with the Cobra head. And these just sit right up over here and they go on to that bridge up there. But they have a different voltage than the exterior lights as well. And then I have to put some out here on the street, on the roadway too. So I have these four different voltages I need to deal with. I've got a circuit board that I picked up from a fellow Facebook friend that I follow, his layout, Jeremy Brown, which I really enjoyed Jeremy's work, what he's been doing on his layout. So I've been following him. And so I took his circuit board and I thought I could maybe set it up and tweak it a little bit to set up four different voltages on this. So the building is almost done. It's not quite glued together yet. The face board where you see all the people and everything, the loading dock itself, that is not glued yet to the back of the building. And so that needs to be done yet. But part of that is because I'm working on the interior lighting as well. You can also see that I have some people. Those are 3D printed people that I 3D printed and painted. So those are custom built people. Really an interesting process to do that, and I'm just beginning to learn that, so not ready to do a video on that. You can also see some of the 3D printing I did. Up on top of the building is the entranceway that goes over the stairways from the head house over here. That is not glued on yet. It's still waiting for me to finish up the electrical work, and then the two stairways that I did. Those are really pretty good. Kind of an interesting project, easy to do on to 3D draw those. I still have the front of the building to do. I'm kind of tweaking that a bit. I'm trying to decide if I want to 3D print the whole thing or if I want to actually just build it. So that's kind of what's going on. The other big project that is holding me up is there should be cobblestone sitting in front of this building. And I was getting ready to do that myself when I heard that Jimmy Simmons and Monster Model Works is back. I really like Monster Model Works cobblestone, so I'm really anxious. I'm checking in there about every other day to see if Jimmy's got any listed up there. It hasn't come up yet on his new website, or his wife's website, however you want to call it. I'll leave that to Jimmy, not to me. But in any case, that's what I'm waiting on for this. But this project is just about done. Because of where I'm at with it, trying to work some of the decision making out, I easily walked away from it for a little while. It's really looks pretty well. The railings are all ready to go up on the outside of this walkway here. They just need to be painted and put into place. And then I've got some finishing pieces that goes on to the end of this to make it finally in place. Paint the sidewalks and just kind of do the last bit of detail work on this, and this bridge will be done. I'm very happy with the way it turned out. It looks very much like the original 20th Street viaduct that was there. So that's kind of what I've been working on since, well, I started, like I said, I started drawing this in the end of December, and I kind of took, I've been off not working on it for about the last month, and I'll show you what I have been working on the last month. So let's take a trip over to Longmont again. Well, this is the goal that I had kind of set for myself at the beginning of the year, even though I was working on Denver a bit. I really want to get the scenery done for Longmont. I have just a little bit down to here. I'll show you another project I'm working on. But this street run is almost done. I have just these 2 more yards to do and finish this down to here. The junkyard is still not really been finished yet. It's just kind of sitting in an open area with the buildings down there. And of course you've seen the sugar mill, and Western Foundries is, you can see it just in the back here, is just about pretty much finished. I need to add details and things like that, a few trees. But over here is still the Longmont Foods, which is the turkey plant, and then across the street I finally found the mill that was missing, and I'll show you some photos of the original one and what I've got for a mock-up right here. But that's kind of what I've been doing. It's really important that when you're doing this kind of stuff, these fences are just in here, but one of the things I've been doing is just make sure, and you can't really tell in the camera, but each of these lawns is a little subtly different because different people are taking care of them. So they're all roughly in the same color palette, but this one's a little greener, this one's a little browner, and this one's kind of in between these two. So kind of working on that. You can see if you happen to catch the NMRA's online convention that's been going on, one of the things I did is I showed I did a clinic there on laser drawing and cutting out laser models a little bit. And I didn't do so much the laser cutting, just so much the drawing and all that. This is the building that I showed and was working on at the time. It's the garage for this particular house right here. You can see another one over here that I'm working on as well. And that's kind of where I've got some 3D printing to do for some of the stairways that are up front here. I'm going to work on this house a little bit, but again, I'm not trying to get focused on high detail in this area. I'm more interested in getting the area done. I still have some more building to do on these models. They are totally no interiors whatsoever, no view blocks, no nothing. They're just basically placeholders right now until I have time and I can just sit down and work on a model. So right now I'm trying very hard to get this area done, and we'll take a look at what's left to be done here. But this is pretty much just these 2 houses over here, right here, these 2 houses here. And then the rest of the trackway through here, you can kind of see where I've been working on that as time goes on too. So, and then put a few people out front to give it some life to it, and that'll be probably what I'll do for now until I really have time to sit down and detail this. But let's take a look at the mock-up of the grain elevator, and we'll go from there. So hang on a second, I'll rotate the camera around here, and we'll pick it up in just a second. Well, this is the last of Longmont to be scenic here a bit. If you've been following, you've seen this is Longmont Foods. This is a turkey plant. I'm a little disappointed my roofing material has curled up. Probably going to have to rebuild that, which is not that hard for me to do. This is just glued down. I used a spray glue to tack that down, and it didn't work well. I'm probably going to have to take it up and redo it and reattach it again, but that's just a minor repair to go into that. One of the goals that I had when building this layout, it is a large layout, it's a 900 square foot layout, was that I had to justify why the railroad car was in front of the manufacturer that was being built, or the business. Why would the railroad stop at that? And as you can see, when you've got a Mikado sitting right in here, these buildings they're large enough to justify why I have a railroad car or two sitting in front of them. They're large enough to justify that type of service. Many of the HO scale layouts that you see these days, the kits that are coming from manufacturers, and this is not ridiculing them, because if you're making a 4x8 sheet layout, you don't have a lot of room. But on a large layout, I do have the room. And that's why I have large manufacturing facilities in which create the image of a more realistic image. This is the mock-up that I've been working on the new grain elevator. If you've been watching on Facebook, I purchased a kit that I thought would be adequate to match it. And when I put it up there, the grain elevator only came about this tall. And I was like, that's a little short. And I had to do the modern one in back behind it. I picked up some photos. Actually, I think one of them is a photo from the Longmont Library. Maybe two of them I got from Longmont Library. I'm going to show them right here to you. The original one is when this was originally built. This top wasn't on here. This didn't exist. It was just this building, and it was a 4-story building instead of a 2-story building in the front with 3 and 4 in the back. So if you're hearing hammering, my wife is doing a project outside, and I think she's attaching something to the side of my building. I'm smiling. It is cool. But one of the things that I wanted to do was to make sure that this was more realistic to scale and fit the whole idea of what I was doing here on the layout. Now this grain shed here that I've got will work just exceptionally well, and I'm going to set that back farther. I'm probably going to remove this hill a little bit and then put there was another building that was sitting along here that I will also probably scratch build. I'm kind of debating whether or not I'm going to do that. This looks really good overall. But I want to get this all done so that this is the last of Longmont, and all of Longmont will have its ground covered down and everything from there. So you can see I've got a little bit of work over here on the side of the building where the trucking all came in, and then get that all cleaned up and look like a parking lot over there. The trains will be set into there. Right now, this track is just holding in place because I'm trying to decide if I want to put a runabout along here to come back into here. In the real railroad, they did, but unfortunately, space is limited on this layout, so I have to decide, do I want to just leave one track going back through here, or do I want to put a siding that comes into here? The issue is that the original siding actually came in from way back over into there and entered in just about into here, and then came back into here. So it allowed them to get in there and do some stuff, but not enough room here, and I really feel like I'm going to be cutting it close. So I may just do this. One of the things to do whenever making these type of decisions is set it up a little while and decide how you like it, think about the operations, and go for there. But that's this month's update. I hope you enjoyed it. I added some train run around because it's always fun to see trains run. And so until next time, Happy modeling.